There is a truth so sharp, so unmistakable, that once it pierces the mind, it can never be forgotten. The man who is willing to outwork everyone else will always rise. Look around you. The world does not reward mere talent. It does not bow to intelligence alone. It yields only to the man who dares to labor longer, push harder, and endure more than his rivals. That man, the one drenched in sweat, when others sleep, he earns the crown. Understand this. The marketplace is crowded with dreamers, men and women who hope, wish, and fantasize, but only a few rise each day with one aim, to outwork every soul breathing the same air. You must be among them. The man who outworks everyone is not always the fastest, not always the smartest, and not always the most gifted, but he is always the most relentless. And in the end, relentlessness breaks down all walls. You say you want success. Then let me ask you, what are you doing when the world turns off its lights? When your friends relax, do you tighten your focus? When comfort calls, do you turn your back on it? When your legs ache and your mind begs for rest, do you keep going? Because that's what it takes. Success bows not to the faint-hearted, but to the fierce-hearted, not to the man who waits for luck, but to the man who outgrinds fate itself. There is a power that awakens within you the moment you decide that no one will outwork you, not today, not ever. It is a quiet fire, a hidden furnace that burns hotter with each repetition, each rejection, each silent victory earned in solitude. When others settle for average, you must hunger for exceptional. When they quit at mile 20, you go 21. When they stop, you surge. You see, outworking everyone is not a choice, it is a necessity if you seek to lead. The crown of achievement is not given, it is earned minute by minute, task by task, struggle by struggle. The man who wins is not the man who started with the most. He is the one who refused to be outpaced, outlasted, or outwilled. Do not envy those at the top. Outwork them. Do not complain about the grind. Become it. Your circumstances do not define you, your effort does. So rise early, stay late, practice longer, push harder. Let others make excuses, you make progress. Let others talk, you act, because one day they will ask how you did it, and the answer will be simple: I outworked them all. The world is filled with men of talent, men of promise, men of dazzling intelligence and inherited genius. Yet if you study closely the pages of history, if you examine the story of every great industrialist, every captain of empire, every man who shaped his destiny from the dust, you will find one trait rising above all others: they outworked everyone. Talent is a fine thing, but it is nothing without the discipline to develop it, the courage to wield it, and the endurance to stand when others fall. Intelligence is admirable, but intelligence alone never built an empire. It was the application of effort, sustained and unshakable, that forged steel from sweat and turned vision into reality. You may not have been born with the brilliance of a scholar or the gift of a golden tongue, but let no man ever say you cannot succeed, because the power to outwork every man around you is a choice, and that choice lies entirely within your grasp. The truth that few accept and fewer act upon is that the man who refuses to be outworked will always win in the long run. He may be overlooked for a while, he may be underestimated, others may scoff, laugh, or even pity him. But while they sleep, he works. While they doubt, he acts. While they wait for perfect conditions, he creates his own storm. It is not brilliance that makes the seed rise from the soil, it is consistent effort. It is not talent that carves stone into beauty, it is labor, day after day, strike after strike. And it is not luck that builds fortunes or legacies, it is sheer, unstoppable work, fueled by a desire that refuses to die. Let this be your creed: no one will outwork me. Say it to yourself each morning, etch it into your habits. Let your life become the living proof that the surest path to mastery, to greatness, to riches, is not found in the stars, it is found in the daily grind, the honest toil, the hard-earned mile that others refuse to walk. Outworking everyone does not mean moving faster, it means moving with more purpose. It means when others get tired, you press on. When others get bored, you focus deeper. When others say, it's good enough, you say, it must be better. The man who outworks others does not seek applause. He does not beg for recognition. He works because his vision demands it, because his goals are too sacred to be left to chance or to the whim of talent. Remember this, and remember it well. The advantage is not in the mind that knows the most, but in the spirit that labors the longest. When you resolve that you will outwork them all, you have already crossed the threshold from average to extraordinary, and from that point on, success has no choice but to follow. There are two types of men in this world, those who act and those who explain why they didn't. One will climb the mountain, battered and breathless, yet smiling at the summit. The other will stand at the base, pointing to the weather, the terrain, the weight of his burden, anything to justify why he remained below. Let this truth settle into your mind like stone. Effort outweighs excuses every time. The man who gets results is not the one with the best conditions. He is the one who moves forward in spite of them. When you understand this, you will stop waiting for perfect timing, perfect health, perfect resources, and start relying on the only thing that has ever mattered, your will to do the work. Excuses are the language of the weak dressed up in cleverness, wrapped in logic, but powerless all the same. A man who makes excuses is often admired by those who make them too. But admiration among the idle is not progress, it is stagnation disguised as sympathy. Your circumstances may not be ideal, your resources may be limited, you may face obstacles that would shake another man to his knees, but you still have the power to act, and that alone is your greatest weapon. The world does not reward the man who explains failure well. It rewards the man who refuses to fail, who chooses progress over pity and responsibility over reasoning. You can have excuses, or you can have results, but never both. Think of this: every excuse you make robs you of a little power. It takes from your soul the belief that you are in control. It weakens your sense of command over your own destiny, and the more you indulge in them, the more you begin to believe them. Before long, you are no longer a man of action, but a man of justification, one who sits idle while time passes him by. Effort, on the other hand, is the currency of achievement. Every ounce of sweat you give is a deposit in your future. Every extra hour, every second spent mastering your craft while others lounge is an investment in the life you truly desire. You don't need sympathy, you need discipline. You don't need permission, you need to move. The man who acts even imperfectly builds momentum, and momentum, once gained, becomes the force that topples obstacles too large to climb. Let others explain why they couldn't. You explain with your results. Refuse to bow to excuses. They are thieves stealing time, ambition, strength, and opportunity. Hold fast to your effort, your grit, your refusal to give up when things get difficult. Because in the end, it is not the man who had the best excuse who is remembered, it is the man who stood tall, pressed forward, and achieved what others deemed impossible. He chose effort, so must you. There is a power far greater than natural ability, a force more enduring than genius, and more commanding than privilege. It is the power of relentlessness, the iron spirit of a man who refuses to be stopped. Barriers are not put in your path to keep you out. They are placed there to test your resolve, to measure how badly you desire what you claim to want. And it is not brilliance, charm, or chance that breaks them. It is the man who keeps going when there's no applause, no encouragement, no comfort, only the sound of his own heartbeat and the weight of his own determination. The man who is relentless does not ask if the task is easy. He asks only if the goal is worthy, and once that goal is fixed in his mind, no amount of resistance, ridicule, or rejection can shake him from the path. The masses retreat at the first sign of adversity. They speak of bad timing, bad luck, unfair conditions, but the relentless man does not wait for the seas to calm. He builds the ship and sails it through the storm, knowing full well that strength is forged only in resistance. Every great achievement in history is the result of a man or woman who refused to quit, not because they had no reason to, but because their reason to persist was greater than their reason to surrender. You may be doubted, you may be mocked, doors may close, opportunities may vanish, but if you remain relentless, if you rise again and again, even when no one is watching, the world must eventually yield to your will. That is not philosophy, that is law. The mountain does not bow to the man who climbs once, but climb 1,000 times, and the path will be worn into the stone. The world makes way for the man who will not be denied. Do not measure progress by speed, measure it by direction. Do not be discouraged by delay, be encouraged by motion. For as long as you are moving forward, no matter how slow, you are closer than you were the day before. And that alone is victory. To be relentless is to be obsessed with your mission. It means rising when there is no fuel in your body and no strength in your bones because your vision burns hotter than your fatigue. It means showing up when there's no recognition, no praise, and no clear reward because you are moved by something deeper, purpose. You are not here to test the waters, you are here to make waves, and the only way to do that is to refuse to stop. So dig your heels in, lock your jaw, set your soul on fire, because when all is said and done, it is not talent, luck, or timing that will set you apart. It is your unbreakable, undeniable, relentless pursuit of what is yours. Comfort is the enemy of achievement. It is the silent thief that steals away your dreams, your ambitions, and your greatness while you rest in its soothing embrace. Every moment you choose comfort over discipline, you build a wall between yourself and the life you desire. There is a subtle battle raging inside every man, a struggle between the voice that urges ease and the voice that demands effort. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail lies in which voice they obey. The man who achieves greatness has learned to master discomfort. He knows that comfort is temporary, but success is permanent. He understands that the moments of pain, the hours of sacrifice, the early mornings and late nights are the forge where his future is shaped. Discipline is not a punishment, it is the foundation of freedom. The man who governs himself through discipline commands his destiny with unwavering strength. He is the master of his habits, the captain of his choices, and the architect of his destiny. Comfort whispers, rest now, wait until tomorrow. Discipline answers, not today. Today I work harder, today I build more, today I move closer. You see, comfort may feel good for a moment, but it leaves behind a residue of regret. It dulls the spirit and weakens the will. The man who chooses discipline over comfort is the man who wakes up before dawn, who pushes through fatigue, who stays late after others have quit. He does not seek applause or sympathy. He knows the prize belongs to those who pay the price, and the price is often discomfort, the burning muscles, the aching mind, the lonely hours spent in preparation. There is no shortcut around discipline, no magic formula, no secret handshake that grants exemption. You must walk through discomfort daily, willingly, with your eyes fixed on the prize. Do not deceive yourself into believing you can succeed on comfort alone. That illusion is the cradle of mediocrity. True success requires sacrifice. It demands focus. It insists on a daily battle won against the temptation to settle for less. The difference between the man who dreams and the man who achieves is the ability to say no to ease and yes to effort. It is the courage to do the hard things when the easy things call louder. Remember this, discipline is not about denying joy. It is about choosing the greater joy, the joy that comes from accomplishment, from progress, from the knowledge that you have done everything in your power to create the life you desire. When you learn to embrace discipline and reject comfort, you unlock a power few possess, the power to shape your future with deliberate action. So rise early, train harder, work longer, study deeper. Let discomfort be your teacher, not your jailer, because comfort is a sweet poison that kills dreams, but discipline is the fire that forges them into reality. Choose discipline, reject comfort, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. True work ethic is not born in crowds or ceremonies. It is forged in the quiet solitude where no eyes are watching, no applause is heard, and no one praises your effort. It is in those silent hours, the early mornings before the sun rises, the late nights when the world has gone to sleep, that character is built and greatness is crafted. Many crave recognition and reward, but few are willing to pay the price that lies in unseen labor. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful lies precisely here. The willingness to work alone, tirelessly, with a spirit unbroken by the absence of external validation. Great men and women understand this truth instinctively. They know that the path to mastery is not paved with applause, but with sweat and sacrifice that no one witnesses. It is the silent repetition of effort, the extra page studied, the additional step taken, the extra hours spent honing skill that sets them apart. When the crowds vanish and distractions fade, you stand alone with your purpose. It is in this solitude that your true self is tested. Will you rise to the challenge, or will you falter? Will you remain faithful to your mission, even when the world offers no encouragement? The man who succeeds is the man who answers these questions with unwavering commitment. He works when no one asks him to. He perseveres when no one expects him to. He continues when the temptation to quit is strongest. Solitude sharpens the mind and steels the will. It removes excuses and distractions. In that quiet space, you confront your doubts, your fears, and your weaknesses, and you conquer them, one by one. There is a sacred power in doing the work that no one else sees. It is a promise to yourself, a declaration that your dreams are worth more than applause, worth more than comfort, worth more than fleeting recognition. Many will never understand this, for they seek the spotlight before the foundation is laid. They want results without the process, glory without the grind. But those who endure the lonely hours, those who build quietly, relentlessly, will find that their efforts multiply when the time for success arrives. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the forge of excellence. It is the place where your discipline is tested, your focus refined, and your ambition made unshakable. If you desire greatness, you must embrace this solitude. You must cherish the hours spent alone, knowing they are the building blocks of your future. No one else can do the work for you. No one else can bear your burden. The journey is yours and yours alone. So rise before the world stirs, work long after it sleeps. Let your labor be a quiet storm, a relentless force that gathers strength in the shadows. Because in the end, the man who conquers solitude conquers all else. And the world will see not just a man who succeeded, but a man who was willing to do what no one else would. The grind is often misunderstood. To many, it seems a punishment, a trial to be endured before the true reward can be claimed. But the truth is far greater and far deeper. The grind itself is the reward. You see, the man who understands this has already discovered a secret that eludes most. He knows that success is not a distant destination, but a journey, a continuous process of effort, struggle, and growth. The very act of grinding, pushing, working harder than yesterday is where the true victory lies. When you dedicate yourself to the grind, you are not simply chasing a prize outside yourself. You are forging your character, sharpening your will, and building a fortress of strength within. The grind transforms the weak into the strong, the uncertain into the confident, the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is in the daily battle, the early mornings, the late nights, the relentless repetition that greatness is born. Each moment spent in focused effort is a brick laid in the foundation of your future, And the man who appreciates this does not seek to avoid the grind, he welcomes it. Why? Because the grind is honest. It never lies, it never cheats, it rewards only those who give their all, day after day. There are no shortcuts, no easy paths. The grind is the great equalizer. It strips away excuses and reveals who is truly committed. Those who run from the grind run from themselves. They fear the discomfort, the loneliness, the hard work. But they cannot escape the consequences. The life they desire will never arrive on a silver platter. It is earned through sweat, sacrifice, and relentless determination. When you embrace the grind, you learn patience and persistence. You discover that progress is not always visible, but it is always happening beneath the surface. You understand that setbacks are not failures, but lessons, opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. The grind teaches you humility and resilience. It breaks you down so that it can build you up higher, stronger, better than before. And with every repetition, every effort, you come closer to the man you were meant to be. The man who sees the grind as the reward does not measure success by applause or fortune. He measures it by his own growth, by the knowledge that he gave everything he had. He knows that true satisfaction comes not from the end, but from the process, the sweat, the struggle, the unwavering commitment to keep moving forward. So, do not fear the grind. Do not resent the hard days or the long hours. They are your teachers, your allies, your path to greatness. Embrace the grind with open arms and a fierce heart, because in the grind you will find your strength. In the grind you will find your purpose. And in the grind you will find the reward that no one else can take from you. The man who refused to quit, that man is you.